Hello everyone, and this is our economic video presentation. And so in this video, we're going to answer 5 questions about economics, and I'm responsible for question 1. And kind of introduce myself right now that I'm Iris from ICI, and this is my Chinese name. 柯志涵, and this is my student ID. Okay, so let's take a look at question 1. After China's entry into WTO in 2001, US became the major importer of Chinese products. And after this, in the end of 2018, President Trump have ordered imposition of tariffs on Chinese products. So, and because of that, many economists thinks that this policy will do more harm than good to the American economy. And so for part A, use a diagram to explain why USA became the importer of Chinese products under WTO Free Trade Agreement. So because of the WTO Free Trade Agreement, it would reduce the trade barriers like tariffs and quotas. So for this question, the world market will increase. Yeah. And because the supply increase, the price will decrease. So for the US market, before the price is at here, and this is the quantity before China entered the WTO free trade agreement. And when they enter, the price decreased to here. So this will be the new supply quantity, and this will be a new demand quantity in the USA. And we can see that the demand quantity is much more than supply quantity. So they need to import the products from Chinese. So then this is the import quantity. So that's the reason of why USA became the importer of Chinese products. And let's take a look at part B. So the part B asks you to use another diagram to show that how President Trump's tariff policy will affect USA imports of Chinese products. And before the price is at here, and this is the import quantity. But because of the tariff and that makes the price 2 increase to price 3. So this will be a new quantity. So for conclusion, we can see that the quantity has dropped. The import quantity has dropped, so this will be the effect of the tariff policy. The import quantity will drop. Yeah. And I will explain part C and part D together. So the part C is, do you agree with those economists and explain your arguments? And I use graphical analysis to support your argument. So the economist said that tariffs do more harm than good. So do I agree? Yes, I agree. And the reason is like this. Before the tariff, the consumer surplus is like this. Yeah, this big. And the producer surplus is like this. So, and it doesn't have any tax revenue and it will loss, so the total surplus is like this. But after the tariff, the consumer surplus has reduced to only the 3 parts. But the producer surplus has increased to 2 parts here. Before it's only like this, and it has rises. And it has tax revenue, is the part F here. And so the total surplus will become this. Yeah, there has 2 parts we didn't draw. It's the part E and part G. So these 2 parts is dead weight loss. So do the tariff do more harm than good to the American economy? I would say yes, I do agree with it. So that's for the question 1. So let's take a look at question 2. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Zhen Ziyi, and today I'll be explaining the solutions for question 2, which is about the Hegelian tax. So for question A, what is the definition of a socially harmful or negative externality? So we all know that externality is a type of market failure that arises when a person engages in an activity that influences the well-being of a bystander. And a negative externality is when the impact on the bystander is bad. It's adverse. It has a negative impact. So, a socially harmful externality will be a impact that has a negative influence to the social. And an example of socially harmful externalities will be like air pollutions, water pollutions caused by the factories. So for question B, use a diagram to show how Bulgarian taxes shift the cost from society to the producers of this socially harmful externality. So we can see from this graph that the tax shift the supply curve from S1 into the social cost curve, which is S2. So through this tax, by internalizing the externality, we can make people take into account the external effects of their action. So for question C, use another diagram to explain why Pavlovian taxes discourage behaviors that creates this negative externalities. We can see like this graph, the tax move the supply curve inwards, which a part of the original producer surplus becomes the tax revenue. And so as the producer surplus decrease, the producers would now have to bear the social cost of their actions, which encourages them to reduce the negative externalities they produced. For question D, use another diagram to explain why Pavlovian taxes can also create more efficiency in an economy, especially when the tax covers the cost of the external damage. So, as we can see in this graph, when the tax moves the supply curve inwards, the demand will fall from Q1 to Q2. And in this way, the market equilibrium will become socially efficient, which before there are externalities, but now it's socially efficient.
Hi, I am Erin Natanya from ICI. Today I will explain to you the answer to question number 3. I will not show my face throughout the video, so this is where I will turn off my camera. Thank you. Number 3, the first one is complete table A. We can see here that the quantity is 2,000, total revenue is 4,000, total cost is $4,400, total variable cost is $3,600, average total cost is $2.2, average variable cost is $1.8, total fixed cost is $800, average fixed cost is $0.4, and price is $2. Here, how we calculate the total cost is just quantity times ATC, which is 2,000 times 2.2, which will result in $4,400. For AVC is TVC divided by Q, which is 3,600 divided by 2,000, result in 1.8. TFC is TC minus TVC, which is 4,400 minus 3,600, which will result in $800, while AVC is TFC divided by Q, which is 800 divided by 2,000, result in $0.4, and then the price, just total revenue divided by Q, which is 4,000 divided by 2,000, equals to 2. Okay, the second part is A perfectly competitive firm currently faces conditions shown in table 1. At its current level of production, the AVC of the firm is minimized, suggesting that its MC equals to its AVC. Is the firm maximizing its profit? Explain why. So I'll explain this. Okay, when minimized AVC is equal to MC, because this is a perfectly competitive market, so the P is equal to the MR. So the P is $2, while the MC equals to AVC is $1.8. So here we can see that in this case, 2 is not equal to $1.8. So the firm is not in the profit maximizing point and is experiencing losses. Why? Because the marginal revenue is not equal to marginal cost and the AVC is not equal to P. And then supported by total cost is bigger than total revenue. So the company is facing losses. And then part C is, if you were the consultant hired by the firm, how would you suggest the firm manager to do it in the short run? Explain why. A graphical analysis is required. So this is for part C. What I would suggest is that in the short run, the firm should not shut down. Why? Because even though at the condition of Q2000, here you can see, and then the firm face losses, it will be better for them to keep operating because the condition that they're facing is the P is bigger than AVC. And then to maximize their profit to reach the maximizing point, I would suggest the firm to increase its production to Q1, where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, and then the P, the price, is equal to marginal cost. So they will reach their maximizing point. And that is all for number 3. Thank you.
Next is question 4, and for the part A, to analyze the shift in Bouillon-Hulot's marginal cost curve and profit maximizing scale of production between 2002 and 2004. We will consider the selling price and average cost. The mine operates where marginal cost equals selling price, so any change in marginal costs are reflected in average cost and selling price. In 2002, selling price was 339 and average cost was 300. Since selling price is larger than average cost, the mine was profitable, indicating that marginal cost was less than selling price for some quantity of production. And in 2003, the marginal cost exceeds the selling price at the previous production scale, likely due to increased cost. This caused the marginal cost curve to shift upward, reducing the profit maximizing quantity of gold. In 2004, the selling price was higher than the average cost again, meaning the mine was profitable at a larger quantity than in 2003. And for the part B, in 2003, the decision to continue production when the selling price of gold was less than the average cost could be strategic. The average cash cost was 246, which was below the selling price, indicating that they could cover the variable cost. Stopping production could have involved higher restart cost or the loss of market share. The decision might also have been influenced by expectation of future price increases or contractual obligation. And for the part C, to compare the break-even condition for 2004. The first part, short-run break-even condition, compare the selling price with the average cash cost, also variable cost. For Bouillon-Huloot, selling price equal to 391. Average cash cost equal to 284. The mine cover is variable cost and contribute to fixed cost. For Kalgoorlie, selling price is 391. Average cash cost is 234. The mine is also covering its variable cost and is more profitable than Bouillon-Huloot in the short run. The second part, long-run break-even condition, compare the selling price with the average total cost. For Bouillon-Huloot, selling price is 391, average cost is 384. The mine is profitable in the long run, but with a slim margin.
And for Kalgoorlie, selling price is also 391, average cost is 278. The mine is comfortably profitable in the long run with a larger margin than Bulyanhulu. This comparison shows that in 2004, Kalgoorlie was more profitable than Bulyanhulu in both short and long run. That's all.
Hi everyone, welcome to the final question of this economics presentation. I'll be basically presenting question 5, which is about Thai power as a natural monopoly. So how this presentation will go is that I will be explaining part A and part B together as first section, and then second section will be part C, third section will be part D, and then fourth section will be part E. So these are all separate. So a little bit about myself. My name is Pei Qi. This is my student ID number, and I'm from ICI. This is a photo of myself. So from now on, I shall be turning off my my camera in 3, 2, 1. Yes, so without further ado, let's hop right into it. This is the question 5. This is basically all the details that you need to know. If you would like to read through or anything, just pause the video. Yeah. Okay, part A and part B. So part A is basically asking you to define what a natural monopoly is, and as well as how the graph is drawn with the average cost curve and then the average variable cost curve and the marginal cost curve. Then part B is asking you for explanation on why Thai power is considered a natural monopoly. So for the definition, based on the textbook Principle of Economics, the 10th edition by Gregory Mankin, he says that a natural monopoly is when a single firm can supply a market with a good or a service at a lower cost than 2 or more firms. So here's your definition. This is the graph that you have to draw for the natural monopoly. As you can see, the average cost curve, the marginal cost curve, and the average variable cost curve is all at a state of decline. And this is because of the fact that natural monopoly has a high fixed cost. And why do they have high fixed cost? Well, this links with the explanation for part B. So taking the example of Thai Power, for Thai Power, they are the provider of electricity in Taiwan. And in the electricity industry, you need a lot of infrastructure to generate electricity. Like you need the generator, and that's going to cost a lot of money. And then you need to set up maybe electrical towers, and then those cost another quite a huge sum of money. And then you have to set up a few, and then you have to connect them with wires. And then you also have high maintenance costs for them to ensure that they're working and can provide the continuous electricity to all of the customers, because electricity is very important in this 21st century. And so this equates to a very, very high fixed cost. And this means that if a firm wants to enter this electrical industry, this means that they have to have a very high budget. And so that's why it has a very high barrier to entry, because of the natural high cost needed. And so this also means that Thai Power experiences economics of scale over a range of output. This basically means they just have the cost advantage. They have the cost advantage over all the other firms in the production of electricity, because they can afford all the fixed assets and whatnot. Yeah, so now you know. All right, section 2, part C. So part C is basically asking you to use a diagram to describe how Thai Power chooses its optimal quantity of output and price, right? So as you can see, here is the graph again. I've added some more details. And so, for example, in the case of a monopoly, they will produce at a profit maximizing output where MR equals to MC, basically when marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. And so here's the production. But of course, since Tide Power in this case is the only firm providing electricity to the entire market of Taiwan, this means that they become a price setter because they have no competition, and as such, they can set a higher price for their goods because consumers will still want to buy their goods if they sell at a higher price. So this means that Tide Power, as a price setter or a price maker, can set a price where P is more than MC. But however, Tide Power can only set price where demand is based on the quantity produced. So this basically means that like if you can see on the graph, where MC meets MR here, right? So this is the point. So they produce quantity here. But based on the quantity they produce, the demand with the invisible line upwards, with this dotted line, you can see that it meets the demand curve here. So here is the demand for the amount of quantity the Tide Power will produce. And so since the demand is here, the firms can Tide Power can only set their price here, because if they were to go any further, their products will be too expensive and nobody's gonna buy, even though they need it, and there'll probably be a lot of protests. So yeah. Anyway, next part D. They are asking you basically on how to draw a perfectly competitive graph, assuming that the electrical market in Taiwan becomes perfectly competitive. Yeah. So here's your graph for your information. Here's your graph. As you can see, quantity is still here where MR equals to MC. But as you can see, now price is set where MR equals to price is set where it is equal to MR and equals to MC. So why is that so? That will be explained in my next part. Part E. So basically, part E is asking you to discuss how electricity price and electricity quantity in Taiwan will change as the electric market in Taiwan will move from monopoly to a perfect competition, and they also want graphical analysis. What this means is here. So for example, originally, Tide Power is a monopoly and is a price setter / price maker. And so they're able to set where price is higher than SMC, as I stated just now. And they're actually also making like super normal profits, for your information. But as they are transitioning to a more perfectly competitive setting as a perfectly competitive electrical market, this means that more firms are able to enter this market. And since all of them are providing same products, which is providing electricity, this means that all these products are homogeneous. So with more of these homogeneous products in the market, this increases the quantity that is available in the market. And since there's more quantity available, this causes price to fall. And usually price would fall to where P, just now as I mentioned, P equals to MR and equals to MC. And as the reason why is in this case, this horizontal line is P equals to MR equals to AR, and it's also equals to demand. And the reason why this demand curve is a horizontal line is because in this case, since in the electrical market, they all provide electricity, these products I've said just now is homogeneous. So this means that all the products between the firms are all just perfect substitutes, and that's why they are perfectly elastic, and that's why assuming this demand curve will basically a horizontal line as compared to the downward sloping curve that, as you can see in this in the diagram for monopoly. And so because now since price falls equals to MR equals to P equals to MR equals to MC, this suggests that Tide Power now becomes a price taker. And then this is because Tide Power is now a price taker is also due to the fact that since now they have competitors, so this means that they cannot set a price above their competitors, or else they will lose they will lose customers. So they're now they now cannot really increase their price. So that's why price will always maintain here. The only thing they can change is the quantity, and they will produce quantity where MC equals to MR, so that they do not make any losses. And so in the long run, they would actually not make any profits. Yeah. So yay, we are done. Hip hip hooray, we are done. Yay, we've for those watching this video, you have survived through 5 economic questions. Good job. Please pat yourself on the back for yeah, and thank you for paying attention to our video, and thank you for listening to our group. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you got to understand some things and maybe learn something. If not, you can watch again, or I guess explore other videos. But hope not. Hope not. Hope our video is good enough and is great enough for you to understand what we're talking about. So I think once again, thank you, and bye bye.